Welcome back to another top 10 ratings video for Madden 25. Today we're going to be looking at my list for the top 10 rookie sleepers for the launch of Madden 25. Now, not all of these names are going to be people you haven't heard of. Some of these names are going to even be decently high of overalls, but for the most part, I think they're considered sleepers because they're not the highest of overalls, but they might be like low 70s at times. But in general, I think some of these names you may not have heard of, some you did hear of, but maybe you just didn't know their ratings or you weren't even paying attention at all. Anyways, we're going to get into this top 10, and at number 10, we're going to get a guy that is very versatile, which is going to be Lions running back Sione Vaki, who comes in at an 89 speed, 91 acceleration running back, 6 foot tall, 208 pounds. As a pure back, he's actually pretty good. He's got 81 juke move, 76 spin move, 72 stiff arm, 76 ball carrier vision, 82 change of direction, and a 77 trucking rating with a little bit of speed. But what makes him my sleeper list pick is the fact that, of course, he can also play safety. He has 85 hit power, 70 zone coverage, 77 pursuit, 61 block shedding, and 69 tackle, with, of course, 69 catching. This is definitely a guy that you can make the decision, okay, we're the Detroit Lions. I have David Montgomery. I have Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm going to take him as a safety, or maybe you just want to use him as a running back. But one thing's for sure is there's going to be a good chance that you could trade for him very easily. So you get yourself a versatile guy that might be really, really fun to use, and thus becoming our number 10 on the list. And at number 9, we have an actual full-on, you're going to use him as a running back player in Isaac Guerendo, the unfortunately 24-year-old running back for the San Francisco 49ers, who is 6 foot tall, 221 pounds, but obviously you're looking straight at his biggest attribute being that speed. 95 speed, 92 acceleration, 91 jumping. Injury stamina toughness is definitely a little scary, but 88 carrying, break tackle of 73, trucking of 73, ball carrier vision's a little bit of a problem, but 72 stiff, 74 spin, 77 juke move. Probably a little bit better of a kick returner type player because he's 24 years old, but if you break off, a couple of breakouts early on, he could easily become a long-term starting running back, especially with that base speed being so high. And, of course, he's going to be our number 9 player even though he's a 71 overall, he's definitely a bit of a sleeper and just really, really fast. And at number 8, we have easily the perfect definition of a sleeper being Devin Culp, who is 62 overall. He is a tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who is 6'4", 237 pounds, and obviously you're once again staring at his biggest attribute, making him this sleeper: 90 speed, 92 acceleration. He's got 85 jumping, little bit of juke ability, not really that much. 65 trucking is your best bet. Catching is 76, 72 spec, 73 catching traffic with some really rough route running ratings. And of course, he is 24 years old, but because of how fast he is, he's obviously going to make the list. We're always looking for even a backup tight end that can just break off a big play every once in a while, and he is probably the perfect one for that. Do you even need to give up like a 7th round 2 years from now? You might be able to get him for just a straight up 65 overall player swap. He's number 8 because he's not the best, but he is obviously one of our top 10 sleepers. And at number 7, we have Raiders cornerback DeCamerion Richardson, the 6'2", 94 speed cornerback, who is a little raw, I will admit. 70 zone, 66 man coverage, but really good press. Not the best of catch, unfortunately, at 55, but with decent tackle at 77 and pursuit of 75, it's pretty self-explanatory why he's on the list. He's 6'2", and he has 94 speed. There's a lot of really fast corners in this class, but not many of them have that combination with the height, and that is why, of course, he is going to come in on this list at number 7. And it wouldn't be a top 10 list without multiple Detroit Lions players from the draft, as, of course, they've been kind of killing it over the last half decade. But at number 6, it's going to be Giovanni Manu, I'm not 100% sure how to say his name, but one of those two, I would imagine, who is 6'7", 354 pounds. I will say, for his size, that strength at 86 is a little low, but he has the size, he has great athleticism, and then, of course, you look at those ratings for his blocking, they're actually pretty good. 82 impact block, 76 base run block, 77 run block power, 75 run block finesse, 74 pass block power, it would be weird because he's so massive, but maybe an Alex Boone type guard, as he really does feel like a really good power blocker and just in general run blocker, which I feel maybe fits a little bit better at guard. But just like Vaki, another guy that maybe the Lions don't really need in game, so probably a guy you could trade for pretty easily. And you know me, I love the massive tackles, and he definitely fits that list of sleepers. As a lot of the linemen in this year's game, at least rookie-wise, look pretty damn good, and I think he fits that bill as well. We now move back to the defensive side of the ball, where we look at the Commanders' strong safety, Dominique Hampton, the 6'3", 220-pound, 91 speed, 91 acceleration safety. Obviously, especially for safeties, you can get away a little bit more with the athleticism only. Not that great a coverage rating players, because you can just drop them back deep and maybe they'll undercut or just chase down an interception or force a fumble. And ironically enough, you could definitely do that with this man right here, who has 89 hit power, 73 press from the safety position is actually pretty good, and so is 64 block shed. This guy's not just a sleeper for rookies, he's a sleeper in general. I mean, some of these ratings are really hard to get up for safeties. Hit power, obviously not one of them that's easy. Block shed, not super easy. And 68 zone coverage, it's not terrible. 64 catching, we've seen worse from corners, let alone safeties. He has pretty damn good change of direction for that size as well. And honestly, you could have argued him to be even higher than this, but because he's a safety, I put him a little lower. Also, unfortunately, 24 years old, but yet another really good sleeper rookie. And here we go with a name that isn't super sleeper because of where he was drafted and where he was projected, but as far as his overall goes, he is definitely exceeding that overall in pure skill. I will say the left end, Brandon Dorless of the Atlanta Falcons, who comes in at number 4 on our list, is a little undersized. 283 pounds, 6'3", probably playing interior, not edge, even though he could, because he's got that speed. Is actually really talented. He has 75 power move, 76 block shed, 82 pursuit, 79 tackle, and 81 hit power. Honestly, I don't know if it's just because they dropped that play rec all the way down to 64, but this doesn't look like a 70 overall player. He has a low awareness and low play rec that is dropping that overall hard, but he is way better than a 70 overall tells, and honestly, he could even be star dev, which you would argue is even a sleeper at that point, but I think because he's a base 70, looking like a 74 plus overall, he had to make the list. And of course, it adds a little bit more depth to this list. It's not just wide receiver, corner, running back type of things. It's also a defensive end / interior type of player at number 4. And of course, coming in at number 3, you knew he was always going to make the list. 6'7" wide receiver from the Philadelphia Eagles, Johnny Wilson. 88 speed is definitely a little lackluster, but he is a massive, massive player. I wonder what that run block at 49 could do as maybe even a tight end, because he is 231 pounds. He's not like a light 6'7", which I suppose, it's light, but you know what I mean. It could be lighter. Obviously, catching ratings are pretty damn good at 78, 82 spec catch, and 78 catch in traffic. Route running's actually not bad, though. 71 short, 70 medium, 71 deep, and 72 release. If you get a speeder upgrade or two, you could actually make yourself a rich man's Mike Evans, not a poor man's, because he's 2 inches taller. And I really want to see how many people are going to make this man their wide receiver 1, because I definitely need to use him and develop him at some point. Of course, 23 years old, it's kind of like the norm these days for rookies, but definitely plenty of time to develop him. And of course, coming in at number 3 is a massive wide receiver. And it wouldn't be a top 10 sleeper list without a fast, low overall linebacker. Now, you could always argue the actual rankings I have for these players, but not really the fact that they belong, in my opinion. And Jamal Hill is probably the perfect example of that. You could probably have him lower, to be honest. But a 6 foot tall, 226 pound linebacker who is 91 speed, 89 excel, and 75 change of direction. Now, you can definitely find better, but I will say his ratings for being such a low overall are actually pretty decent, with 69 zone coverage, 60 man coverage, 79 pursuits, 78 tackle, and a 63 block shed, which is a little low, but usable. He is 23 years old, but of course, the speedster in me for a linebacker using I must use him as well. He is definitely going to be a guy that a lot of people target, and because he's such a low overall, once again, it should really not take you much to trade for him. So he's going to be coming in at number 2. You could argue that he maybe should have been a little lower. I'm trying to think about this right now. I feel like Hampton could have definitely swapped places with him, but at the end of the day, all that matters is who's on the list and not really specifically where they are. And speaking of who's on the list and not where they are, we have 4 honorable mentions, just like our most overpowered rookies video. At number 1 here, not really in any specific order, we have Mason McCormack, left guard for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Unfortunately, 24 years old, but at 70 overall, some really, really good ratings. 70 speed, 79 excel, 90 strength, the size to play anywhere across the line. And then some really good, ratings. 74 run block, 72 pass block, 83 impact, 75 run block power and finesse, 74 run block power, or pass block power, 72 pass block finesse, and 81 lead block. Definitely a way better player than that overall is listing, probably due to that awareness, but athletic, big, strong, decent ratings. And another honorable mention is Jacob Cowing, the 5'8" slot type wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers, 23 years old as well. Very fast at 93 speed, 93 acceleration, pretty good juke ability at 81 juke move. And of course, his receiver abilities are actually really, really balanced. 79 catching, 77 spec, catch in traffic, and short route running, 76 medium, 75 deep route running, and 74 release. Kind of just goes down from there, which is not bad at all. Most of the wide receivers that aren't known, if you will, or top, first round players, don't even touch 74 release, let alone 70. So very, very good sleeper here. The only reason why I didn't make the list is because I had other guys on there, and more importantly, he is 5'8", so he's a little less, versatile and more slot specific. Then another honorable mention is Jaden Hicks, the 6'2", 215-pound, 89 speed, 91 excel safety from the Kansas City Chiefs. The main reason why he didn't make the list is, once again, didn't have enough room, and I feel like he was overshadowed by Hampton, in my opinion. 22 years old, which maybe makes him a little more desirable because he is a little bit younger, but 87 hit power, pretty damn good zone coverage, really good block shedding. Definitely makes him very comparable to Hampton, but just a little slower and a little bit shorter is going to keep him off the list, but technically in the video. And then for the final honorable mention, we have Theo Johnson. The only reason why he didn't make the list is because he's a 72 overall. I felt like he's just not sleeper enough. He's a little too high of an overall, but 6'6", 264 pounds with 87 speed, 90 acceleration, some decent trucking ratings at 69, 90 jumping's amazing, really good catching ratings, okay route running ratings, kind of comparable, honestly, to Brock Bauer, which is saying something, and some really good run blocking ratings. But once again, the only reason why he didn't make it is because I feel like he was too good and didn't really qualify as a sleeper. But finally, on to number 1. It's going to be a quarterback, Joe Milton III from the New England Patriots. The 6'5", 246-pounder is going to be our number 1 sleeper. I will say the age worries me a little bit at 24 years old, but if there's any position where you're not going to worry as much about age, it's going to be QB. The reason why he makes the list is pretty self-explanatory. 97 throw power, 83 speed, 85 acceleration. That is easily enough to get the job done. And of course, his accuracy ratings, you can just build them up as a short route or a short accuracy quarterback until you get enough XP to get those other ratings up. But even then, 71 mid, 71 deep, 72 play action. I have used worse. I have developed worse. And I think Joe Milton, because of that throw power and a little bit of athleticism, is deserving of that number 1 spot. Let me know if there's a player that you felt shouldn't have made this list, or maybe one of the honorable mentions should have replaced a different player. If you guys did enjoy the video, though, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and if you're not new, I do appreciate continued support on the channel. Maybe follow me on Twitter, JeromepkR, second channel PKR Plays for non-Madden content. And of course, if you didn't check out that top 10 overpowered rookies video from earlier, maybe check it out. If there's any other video ideas with these ratings you'd like to see, let me know in the comment section below, as I would imagine the next up would be a top 5 franchise teams to rebuild/use would be next. And then honestly after that, there's a couple of other things, but for the most part, that would be where I would take it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys come back for next video. And if you're excited to use any of these players, let me know in the comment section below. But until next video,